Hopefully you guys enjoyed our wonderful new intro. Welcome to Top Rope Spoilers, a subsidiary show of On the Ring Apron. I'm Steve.
And Kia.
And Alyssa.
She's thrilled. They're all happy. They know they're about to get wings when we're done, because, hey, it's date night!
Party, people!
Oh, good grief.
Did you just do that?
Yes, you did.
Period. Okay.
Can we start off by saying I like the whole intro and leading into it. I like the creativity that was put into that. Very nice. Very nice.
Shout out to logo animators on Instagram. If you want your logo created in all kinds of fun fashion, we do it for every one of our shows, so definitely go give them a look. They don't cost a ton, and they're really, really good at what they do, so nice little shout out to them. But we're discussing NXT No Mercy coming up this Saturday. It's the first live event for NXT in a couple of months now. Some great matches, 7 good matches on the card coming up this Saturday, including the 2 main events, the Extreme Rules rematch really, between the man Becky Lynch and Tiffany Stratton, and the NXT Championship being defended as Ilya Dragunov and Carmelo Hayes will have their infamous rematch from Great American Bash a couple of weeks ago. You good?
You don't have to call me out.
I have to do it every show.
No, you don't.
Flat cherry Coke, dear. That was the answer.
And what you don't have to do is call out my drink either. You don't call out.
But if you know, there's a perfect opportunity. Hand me the cup. Not the.
You said hand you the cup. You didn't say what part of the cup. You just said the cup.
Be glad we're on camera.
Or what?
Alyssa, you want to say the line?
Coca-Cola, give us free stuff.
Give us free stuff. Hashtag shameless shout out. Let's get to the show. This, as I said, is No Mercy. You can see the scoreboard in front of you. Kia and Alyssa are tied at the top of the leaderboard, so it's girl power along the way at 42 apiece. OTRA's trailing by 41. The community posts are out. Make sure you throw in your votes. We've got hundreds of votes on every one of them so far. I'm just trying to beat the street sweepers at the end. I'm down 5, so just like if this was a road race, I'd be in dead last, so, you know, this doesn't happen on its own, okay? So let's move into our first set of picks here. Let me shut off the scoreboard and start running the little countdown clock here, which is supposed to keep us on track, but it never does. We'll try to see what we can do this time to get everybody on their way here. But our first matchup was actually made official earlier today, a matchup in the women's division as Kelani Jordan, who was Dana Brooke's protege before her WWE release 2 weeks ago, will finally get her premium live event debut as she battles the wicked Blair Davenport. Davenport has made it a point to come in, and she's like, I'm going to defeat and beat up whoever I want, whenever I want. This is my division, and watch as I take it by storm. Dana Brooke was the one who originally stood up to Blair, along, of course, with Roxanne Perez, and it's been Kelani, the rookie gymnast, who has come in and has taken in her wrestling career and has attempted to...
Keep talking.
Attempted to take a gymnastics career and turn it into wrestling. Not the first person to attempt to successfully do it, and she's been doing a wonderful job in her training, but definitely has called her biggest shot so far at NXT, as it was Kelani that wanted this match with Blair, and Blair has accepted to make it official. Definitely a lot of experience difference in this match, as Blair easily has the advantage in terms of overall experience. Kelani also will be facing the bright lights for the first time and will not have Dana Brooke any longer in her corner to be able to assist her in this situation. We'll start with Alyssa here because we're tied. Kelani, has she bit off more than she can chew in this situation?
Child. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, they've had a match together, right?
They've had a singles match against one another, but you had Dana and others running interference during the match. Blair ultimately took advantage of a situation. Kelani also has picked up a lot of experience since then.
Okay. Well, I'll say this. It's very lopsided when it comes to the experience side, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You've mentioned that, and, you know, that's okay, but, like, when you're calling your shot, you know, you don't want to overcall it. And again, that was with help, so, I don't know.
Well, I mean, you admire the confidence level. Kelani definitely looks like she's stepping in and is saying, I'm not going to back down from anyone. I don't care whether I'm the rookie or not. I'm going to give it my best. But we have seen just how dangerous and devilish that Blair Davenport can be. So it's curious to see, is Kelani truly understanding exactly what she signed up here for it?
I was about to say, all I see in my brain is like Zorro trying to get to Ranch. You just gonna keep on throwing her. You're just gonna keep on throwing her off the thing. You're just gonna keep on whooping her, and she just gonna keep on coming back. She's just gonna keep on coming back.
And, you know, we've had the opportunity to see Blair in person, so we know exactly how much talent she has in the ring. Of course, was part of that triple threat to try to win the unified titles back when you had Mandy and Satomura last year. So Blair is definitely
Very
up to the task, has been under the bright lights, so experience definitely in her favor, but the youth factor, you can't underestimate it, and of course you can't underestimate the heart of Kelani. You leaning more towards, you've been a fan of Blair's up until now, you know, and curious to see if that continues with your pick, but what are you seeing if you've been a person who has all of this experience and now you're getting called out by someone who's been here less than 6 months?
She picked the wrong person. She picked the wrong person to call. She don't have Davenport no more to be in her corner, run interference. Is she really going to actually do what it needs to be do to take me out? Everybody before her has tried. Some have been successful, some have failed. And may I say, I'm sorry to see a lot of the releases for WWE. I was sad to see a good majority, including Dana Brooke. She was one of my favorites when she came in, due to her background and everything. But again, Kelani, like the name, I'm not sure if she's going to win over Blair Davenport. She's cute. She's cute for a gymnast. It is what it is. But cuteness don't always win your matches.
Only in my heart.
No, cuteness don't always win you matches. As cute as she is, I feel like, now on the flip side, Blair is not that cute, but she's rough, tough, and I feel like she's gonna whoop her.
Speak for yourself.
I feel like Blair's gonna whoop her in my Joe voice. If you want to try that, go ahead. Do impressions.
No.
Whoop her.
Whoop her. Whoop her.
Yeah.
Trademark.
Yeah.
Trademark Medea.
Medea.
Please don't sue us. So, you know, I mean, again, and with this match, not really, I mean, it almost feels like they're trying to wrap up the storyline here because the long game obviously was going to be likely a Dana Brooke heel turn and Kelani ultimately facing Dana. But now all of a sudden, you know, it feels like you've got to use Blair to kind of wrap up the story. You needed an end game. It's interesting, though, that they choose to put them on a live event, albeit, though, with no real storyline in NXT to really be able to discuss it. So we move into our picks here. Alyssa, since you were able to tie things up, you actually get the opening salvo this time around. Even though it's tied, you're the person that came in trailing, so you go first this time. Where do we see this one?
I think Kelani will put up a good fight. I don't think they'll go out there and just let Blair like squash her. I think she'll put up a good fight. You'll see a lot of that heart and confidence that you talk about, but I think Davenport's got her number.
Too much Blair?
Yep.
All right. Kia?
In my Lana voice, Crusher. I mean, it's Davenport.
Blair.
Blair.
Okay. I was taking a look at the community page earlier, which, again, if you haven't taken a look, go to our YouTube page. You can place your votes there to get a chance to be part of the OTRAs. Only 1 point behind the ladies right now. But this was the one that just most recently got added, so there's not a ton of votes on it yet, so too early to call. I'm trailing, so you know what? I'll call the upset. I'll take Kelani Jordan in this one. I think that if you're going to build her up to be the future of the division, you need her to get a win. I'm not sitting here telling you she's going to go out and dominate. This seems like a match that if she's going to win, it's going to be by a roll-up, or it's going to be maybe someone like a Roxanne Perez, who has had issues with Blair in the past. In fact, a lot of people in that women's locker room have had a problem with Blair over the last couple of months. And maybe Kelani, like Blair did in their match a couple of weeks ago, is able to take advantage of the chaos herself this time. So I'm trailing. I need some help. So let's see if Miss Jordan can get me there. I'll take Kelani in the upset.
Okay. You take cuteness factor.
I will absolutely do so. She is adorable and talented and can absolutely gymnast circles around me. So we'll just leave it at that.
If you were not buying dinner tonight, I'd have been walked away by now.
But I am buying dinner.
That's
so
exactly why I'm still sitting here. I'm sorry.
There you go.
Next match.
Moving to match number 2. I'm going to slide this up here just because it'll actually help me out. But let's move into match 2. Go ahead and hit the countdown clock here. And this is the first of 4 championship matches. I think the belts are to your right, Kia. But this is for the NXT Tag Team Championships, currently held by the D'Angelo family, Tony D'Angelo and Lorenzo Stacks.
By the way, he's really cute, just in case I hadn't said that.
Mm-hmm. Well, I got to do my Kelani moment, so it's only fair. But they have decided they've been looking for the right people to sit at the table with the family. And ultimately, you've had a number of teams that have stepped in and said, we deserve to be the next ones to get title shots. And at the end of the day, the D'Angelo family elected, you know what? You're all equally worthy. So let's just make it a fatal four-way. First pinfall takes it. So they will be defending in a fatal four-way tag team match against the teams of Los Lotharios, which is Angel Garza and Humberto Carrillo.
His lovely cousin.
The Creed brothers. We all fans of theirs. And then you've got the new team in there, and that is the team of Lucian Price and Bronco Nima. So, Bronco's country, let's ride.
Oh, I mean, are we talking about the cute new guys that are, like, on the roster?
You're allowed to say that. I'm not. This is a kid-friendly show, Kia.
Okay.
So, you know, all of the teams have their talents. We have one team that's current champions. The Creeds have been tag team champions before. The Fatal 4-Way, of course, means no disqualifications, no countouts. Somebody's got to win the match. The D'Angelo family has been looking for the right challenger, so interesting that they would choose to put 3 teams up against them, but they want their championship reign to be legitimate. So, Kia, we'll start with you. Just overall glance at this one. What are your thoughts on the D'Angelos choosing to take 3 teams instead of just choosing 1?
I like the fact that Stacks and the Dawn literally have that much confidence. I love confident men, and that's what this is. Saying, you can put us against anyone and everyone on the roster who's a tag team, and we're going to take them out. And to have 3 excellent teams, Creeds, Los Lotharios, and the new guys on the block, I feel like that's great. Honestly, for me, we already know who I'm pulling for. I'm not going to mention my pick, but...
Not for another 3 minutes.
Not for another 3 minutes. 1, 2, 3, yeah. But I'm excited. I can't wait to see what happens in this match and how far it goes and who pulls what and what happens and how Lorenzo and the Dawn actually overcome all the odds.
Not sure how that got there. Anywho, we're going to take care of that. And very quietly, tag team matches end up, most of the time on these live events, end up being some of the better matches that you end up seeing because of all the chaos and all of the movement that you can see. And obviously you have very well experienced teams, Lucian and Bronco also, of course, being the relative newcomers. But you also have to think that maybe with the exception of the Creeds, they've got the size advantage over the other teams in this thing. So power will definitely be in their corner. And they've already shown that they will go up against any and all challengers, including beating the Creeds a few months ago. Ooh. So that is no easy one to be able to pride over. So now we'll slide to Alyssa here. You know, what does the winning team in this situation need to do in order to be able to be in the best position to be able to win? Because there is no champion's advantage here.
Ooh. I was about to say they're just gonna have to be able to. They're gonna have to be able to remain as a team. Don't let all the side noise, don't let everything like going on, all the chaos, distract you. You know, at the end of the day, you got to remain your team. You got to remember your partner. You just got to stay connected as one. And I feel like as long as you keep that chemistry and you keep that awareness, like of your partner together, you should be fine.
Well, it's definitely an interesting concept because the topic of family has been brought up a ton in this particular one. The D'Angelo family, of course, treating it as family. The Creed brothers, again, 2 separate folks, but brothers. We have cousins in the Lotharios. Mm-hmm. It's only Bronco and Lucian that are completely seeing things from a non-related perspective, but, they say they were brothers on the street, so
they're still family.
It gives you that perspective of, blood being thicker than water, but in this case, whose blood is truly the thickest here.
Yeah, family don't have to be blood. Also, not all the time.
That's true. You guys like to beat up on me all the time, so it's okay. But again, I'm paying for dinner, so you're not allowed to say a word.
How does that? Huh?
No ice cream for you. See, look at that. She's getting herself in trouble. This is what we do.
Steven.
Go ahead.
Steven.
There we go. Under a minute here. Let's move to our picks. Kia, you're up first on this one. Fatal four-way. Where are we heading, Nick? 3 minutes have passed. Time's up.
I'm going with. See, I've been juggling it around in my head. I would say the brothers, because Lucian and Bronco sound really, really tough for names. So if it sounds tough and they look tough, that's who I would have gone with. But feet don't fail me now. I'm going with the Creed brothers. I'm glad they're back. First of all,
That's true. They lost their job for a little while.
they did, and they came back, and I feel like they're better than ever, and I feel like they're going to have that chemistry. You have to think they've trained together, they've worked together, they've wrestled together. So I feel like it is what it is, and hopefully they take the gold back that's theirs.
Creeds?
Creed.
All right. Oh, yeah, I'm up next. I'm sorry. I forgot you went first this time. It's odd because we've usually been going this way for the last couple of times.
See, if you would have looked at me and asked, I would have told you my pick and said, you can go last. But Alyssa's very kind.
May as well. It ain't going to change the results. I'm going to go with the D'Angelo family to retain. I feel like, if you're gonna call your shot and you're going to say, you know what, bring everyone on, you're showing up with confidence. And the fact is, this is a team that's been battle tested. This is a team that had to go through a trust exercise in their storyline with Gallus in order to win the championships, even get the title shot in the first place. I mean, the Don went to jail. He served hard time, and unlike another champion that we've got to talk about here in a minute, he lived to tell about it and came out better as a result. You don't call your shot against 3 other teams if you're not ready. I think the D'Angelo family finds a way to take care of things.
Take
I
care
would
of
say
business.
I also like the D'Angelo family to retain, but it's not because of the family stuff or anything like that. I feel like they're just clicking well right now together. And I told y'all from when they got them, when they went out and won them, they just look like they are each other. They look at each other the same. They move with each other in the same step. I love it.
So you're saying they're clicking on all cylinders.
They're clicking on all cylinders right now.
I love it. Sounds like a reasonable pick to me. So we've got 2 going with the family and Kia's going with the Creeds. So it's Los Lotharios all the way, right?
Yep.
Or the brothers.
We know.
We got it. Oh, Lord. Again, I'm not allowed to say anything. So
I was about to say I look forward to seeing what they bring though.
Yeah, me too.
I've been watching them with their individual stuff and they look good. But I'm excited to see them go up against 3 other teams. I'm excited
Exactly.
to see what they've
And
learned
now
since they've gotten here.
And let's see what having a title shot also does for your confidence as well. And speaking of, the opportunities to be able to be presented, you'll notice that all of us are wearing our Connor's Cure and our Mania gear. Kia has on the Mania Club pin over there. I'm in the Connor's Cure shirt, Mania Club jersey, and the pin over here with Alyssa. This is, of course, Pediatric Cancer Awareness Month. We're closing in on the end of it. For those of you who have never viewed the Mania Club Facebook page, go take a look at it. We're doing special events right now with all of the proceeds going towards Connor's Cure and fighting pediatric cancer. There are 2 main ones we wanted to make you guys aware of. The first one is that we actually have an auction that is going on right now for a number of wonderful items. I've put actually my Fiend cosplay as well as the Bray Wyatt lantern that I had that won me a Halloween contest a few years ago. But also, yeah. So it's been very popular. I've put the entire one up there, and it's going very well at the moment. The lantern right now has a number of bids on it. There is signed action figures, T-shirts, memorabilia. We just had another Mania Club member add in some signed 8x10s on there. And I think there is also a contest that's on right now where people are being able to raffle for an opportunity to be able to win a championship belt signed by both Cody Rhodes and Bianca Belair. And that one is going for quite a bit in case you got really deep pockets. And then the other one they want to do that's requires a little less money, but certainly some benefit. We have a benefits deal going on right now with Krispy Kreme, where anybody who donates $10 on behalf of the Mania Club through the Mania Club site, and there's details on there, you will get a voucher for a free dozen donuts. And I don't know who's been to Krispy Kreme, but I mean it costs more than $10 now to get a dozen donuts now. So I mean you're saving money and you're benefiting a great cause. Pretty much we're covered for sweets for the holidays with our donations, but definitely take the time to do it. The Mania Club is trying to be the top person. The V Foundation has made note of it earlier, so we definitely want you guys to go check it out, go take a look. There's a lot of fun items, and even if nothing else, just share the information and be able to allow others to be able to see our cause. We've been doing this for years, honoring the life of Connor Mahalik, who, of course, was the first Warrior Award winner. So we want to make sure that we honor his name every year, especially in the month of September. So take a look at that. Go support Connor's Cure. Should be doing this year-round anyway, but this month more than ever. Take a second to go take a look at what's on there. Again, Mania Club Facebook page. Just look up Mania Club and you'll find us.
I wish my pockets were deep, but we all saw my check yesterday. So the best thing for me to do is give away some shirts.
There you go, and that's exactly what we're doing. If we don't, and again, it's we call it time, energy, money. It's not just about money. Time and energy also is just as important. So every little bit helps. But let's get back into our picks here. We're going to move on to match number 3. And this is basically a big bad boy match, I guess, if you want to call it that, as it will be the big dog of NXT, Bron Breakker, going one-on-one with the lone wolf, Baron Corbin. Breakker, of course, is going through, his heel run right now, where you are trying to establish, like, hey, I don't care at this point. That championship title was an anchor on me. I'm better than this, and I'll just mow through everyone. And his latest attack on Von Wagner, crushing his head with the steel steps and taking him out for the foreseeable future, definitely got... Just ignore her, please. We're putting you on a 30-second mute. Gracious. Either way, see, that's what you get. Breakker ultimately, getting Baron's attention, and Baron wanted to take a second to say, you know what? You did what I would have done years ago. Breakker responding with, I don't care. I don't need your respect. I don't need your viewpoint. I'm bigger and better now than you've ever been in your career. Baron, of course, not taking that too well and saying that sounds like fighting words to me. So you're going to see 2 of the biggest guns in NXT go head-to-head with nothing more than pride on the line. And for 2 people who are all about being at the top of the ladder and being the top of the food chain, if you will, this one has possibly very quietly match of the night written all over it.
Boy? First of all, let's just say this is going to be I feel like this will be one of the more physical matches that we're going to see. I'm excited to see bodies go flying. I really enjoy the fact that Baron is coming down here and actually, doing something, up on the main roster, they made him a joke.
They really did. It looked horrifying.
I was like, whose name is Happy? Come on.
Happy Corbin.
Come on. Get real. But since he's come down here.
Is one of the 7 dwarfs known as Happy?
Oh my god.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Sorry.
She is on her shit tonight.
I'm so
but now that he's back down here, he's just down here doing his thing and
See, you only get an opportunity to see this for a couple, maybe an hour or so every month. I live with this. They get into giggle fits like this, and then you just can't get them back. I might have to do the rest of the show myself.
Huh?
Or y'all.
But yeah, Bron been talking about his neck, and I love it. I'm here to see it. I liked him as a face, but him as a heel, I'm just okay. I don't know what it is. They do their thing hairless. They come back with a full beard, and then they go wild. Him, Theory.
The beard is powerful.
The beard brings him out. So I'm excited to see how this is gonna go.
He was one of those people, though, that there have been a handful of people that have been in WWE and in NXT that started off as really strong faces, and you wondered, could they be able to go heel? You looked at people, 2 names right off the bat, Bayley and Roman Reigns.
Oh my gosh.
Roman, even when they tried to make him heel, the fans wouldn't let it happen until finally the Tribal Chief motif forced it to happen. And then Bayley, I'd argue, has been a better heel than she ever was a face. But people were concerned that it could never happen.
I'm not going to lie to you. of everybody that says she will not be a great heel. She was a cute face that worked in NXT, but all this flailing hands and the ponytail and the side band, that was for little kids.
Yeah,
Clearly.
and it is what it is.
But
Well,
now...
Go back to Baron, or to Corbin and Bron.
Okay, so I'm glad that they're not making him a joke. I'm glad they sent him back to his lone wolf. The only thing that would be better is if he got his hair back, and it would set the scene. It would just, like, make him kick butt, that much more. Either way, I like Bron, but I also love Baron way more. Knowing what I know and knowing that he has the capability of now not being just a face, but being heel and getting back into that persona. And even if even if he doesn't win, both people will look strong. He's looking strong, and that's great. I'm excited for the match, and like Alyssa said, it's going to be very active. It's going to get very active. There's going to be a lot of activity, and I want to see bodies kind of hit the floor with this match.
That's exactly it. And you're looking at strength versus strength here. Both of these guys are known for their strength. They're known for their power, and both are deceptively fast for people their size.
Yes, they are.
So this absolutely has the capability to just be one of your roughhouse, if not the roughhouse match of the night, maybe sans the Extreme Rules match, only because they have the advantage of being able to do pretty much whatever they want. So we move to the selections here. I go first this round. The issue is that I've wanted to choose Baron so many times, and I think I did once, and it's like, when is Baron going to finally get that caliber win? Why did you return to NXT? And understanding it's okay to use it to build up other people. If they're not the first person, that's exactly what Becky's doing in the women's division right now. But I feel like Baron's got to get that signature win. However, the end game is ultimately that you're going to send this Braun Breaker to the main roster. And a win over a multiple-time champion of both in NXT and on the main roster will do him wonders. A former Money in the Bank winner. It does wonders for his status, especially heading up. So I'm going Breaker.
I like Breaker as well.
Breaker?
Yeah.
I'm going the exact opposite. I'm saying Baron only because I like Braun, but it's going to be Baron for me.
Baron, all right. And this one was actually one that was relatively tight in the voting when I was looking. I think Breaker was ahead, but it was definitely closer than I thought it was going to be. So still a chance to possibly have that one flip. So we'll see how that one pans. Let's move into match number 4. We're at about the halfway point here, so we'll go ahead and start the clock here. This is the finals of the first ever NXT Heritage Cup Invitational, where Noam Dar will finally defend his NXT Heritage Cup after 6 weeks off and watching Metaphor sit up top in all kinds of insanely crazy outfits. I think they were in 18th century English clothes the other day. Can you picture? Picture Jakara Jackson and whatnot sitting up top in something that looks like the Queen would wear to Wimbledon. It looks wonderful. But Noam wanting the best challenger possible, and it ends up being Butch, former UK champion, returning from SmackDown to enter the tournament. He ultimately wins Group A and then wins the finals match against Joe Coffey earlier this week on NXT to earn a match for the Heritage Cup. Butch, as we said, the second longest reigning UK champion of all time, only behind Walter/Gunther. And definitely knows his way around British rounds matches because that's what he wrestled throughout the early stages of his independent career. So Noam wanted the best, and he may have very well just drew it. So this one is going to be definitely an uphill fight under British round rules. Got to win 2 rounds out of the 6 possible. Pinfall, submission, a DQ ends it. A knockout also ends it as well. Is there any chance in this situation, as we open with Kia, that Butch, you did all the work to earn the match. Is he going to be able to be in the right mindset to finish the job while also still carrying his load of being with the Brawling Brutes on SmackDown?
Okay, first of all, we're talking about, this is Pete Dunne, this is Butch, this is a fighting man. Literally, he will break your fingers, he will sit on you, and I don't remember if he's bitten anyone in his matches, but I feel like that would be a great thing. It's how can you lose for a person that knows his way around matches? of this magnitude, there is no way, and we all know I do not like Noam. I have not liked Noam since he was with Alicia Fox, and that ship has long sailed. So,
thank goodness. Admiral hat and all.
I miss it, but it is what it is. But I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like I do, but I don't like you. I will not like you. There is no way you're going to sit here and prance around and everything else and all these different types of clothes and think that you're the best of the best. Really, right now, if he looks across from him in that ring, he's literally, in my opinion, fighting the best person he possibly could fight. And I don't see him walking away. At least, not in my opinion. He might crawl away. He might fall down the thing. His friends, Metaphor, don't have to come get him up off the floor. But it is what it is.
Well, the question is he going to be able to crawl away with the cup still in his possession?
He's not.
Or is Butch going to take it away? And getting the Heritage Cup on shows like SmackDown would certainly raise up its appeal, because you've already seen how, you've had the Women's Championship, the North American Championship have both been going on Raw and SmackDown, been getting that extra prestige. Well, now all of a sudden you add in a very unique championship in the Heritage Cup and bringing that new set of rules, but being able to perhaps use this to introduce it to the main roster if Butch can win. The one thing I've noticed, though, and this is where I'll go to Alyssa, is that Butch has so far been able to do this all by himself. He's been able to come in, but we know how Metaphor is. We know that Ora Mensa is going to likely, be in his corner, as you would expect for a British Rounds match. Is there any chance in this situation, is Butch prepared to go this one alone, or do we maybe see a Sheamus and Ridge sighting?
I was about to say, I'm going to keep it real with y'all. I feel like even if he does decide to go in this alone, I feel like he's not going to have any fear against any of them. I'll snap all y'all fingers. You know what? You want to step in this ring? That's fine.
Exactly.
Line them up. She's going to be over there.
The fours will be bent.
Yeah, they're going to be Metaphor. Looking like
Metaphor.
Scary Movie 2. Looking like Scary Movie 2. They're going to be over there like this. Don't play with them. But no, in all seriousness, I remember when y'all first, introduced British Rounds and all that, all those types of, matches and things. When I started thinking about it in my brain, and I thought of somebody who, would embody what I, visioned, a rough match like this would be, I immediately thought of Butch. I was like, oh, wow. So he gonna be in there just snapping fingers, snapping toes, snapping legs, snapping arms. He's gonna just be in there. He gonna be snapping everything. Hope he can crawl.
You really do feel like it's a match built for him, and obviously we are very well aware of Butch's stamina level.
Absolutely.
He absolutely can handle, 18 minutes worth of match without even being the slightest bit winded. Because we saw his wars with Gunther, we saw his wars, fighting with the Brawling Brutes for the last several years. We know that he comes with the fighting style. This is absolutely going to be up his alley. Noam, though, knows his way around the Heritage Cup rules and knows how to bend those to his favor. So hopefully that's the only thing that gets bent and not his fingers and other digits.
So, right quick, you said, do you think there's going to be a spotting? I think there might be a spotting of Sheamus and Ridge, but they only have one guy to fight, and that's going to be Mensa. Maybe technically two, if you think about it, but I'm not.
I'm sorry. She's on her shit.
I'm not going there. Y'all know what I'm saying. Either way, I feel like, there might be a sighting. It might be 3-on-4, 3-on-2, who knows?
3 seconds, so we killed the entire 6 minutes. Hey, we done good. So real quick, who's walking out with the Heritage Cup?
I do believe it'll be Butch.
Butch?
Butch, most definitely. Most definitely. Hands down. I just don't like the dude on the other side. I'm not going to pretend I do.
This will be his toughest defend, but... Yeah.
And to me, why go through 6 weeks of tournament if ultimately the person that gets to the end is not ultimately going to end up with it? And I really do feel like putting the Heritage Cup and having him carry it on to SmackDown, even if he, loses it, after a couple of weeks or so, okay. But, let it be introduced. Let it be seen on SmackDown. Let it be seen, exactly. Every bit of exposure helps. So I like this one, and I like Butch winning this one as well. I feel like experience will absolutely help him out in this instance. Sorry, Noam.
And I've never seen Butch cry a day in my life like Noam. Just saying.
He just went into poor depression. So I don't know if we can go through that again.
Well.
He got his crew to pick him up.
That's right.
They will carry that river.
3 to go. It's all title matches the rest of the way. Let's start with the North American Championship match, getting added late to the card. As originally the current NXT North American Champion, Dirty Dominik Mysterio of the Judgment Day, was originally scheduled to face Mustafa Ali, who had earned a title match by beating Dragon Lee in a match that Dominik Mysterio was the special guest referee. More on that shortly. Ultimately, Mustafa Ali was one of the individuals who was released after WWE's official sale to Endeavor and TKO Group Holdings. So Mustafa getting the long-awaited release he wanted. Dominik ends up successfully retaining over Dragon Lee in what was a very good match on Monday Night Raw, and he beats him clean, so Lee loses his opportunity to be able to win it one-on-one, and Dominik believes that he's going to get himself out of having to go to No Mercy at all, especially since Mommy is still out of play right now. Ultimately, though, that quickly gets short-circuited as Shawn Michaels announces a triple threat match. It ends up being turned into a fatal four-way because Trick Williams says, I'm ready to assert myself as a singles competitor, and I can't do so if I'm sitting on the sidelines. So he demands entry, Shawn admires him, puts him in, and ultimately Trick Williams pulls the upset. And then the shocker of all things is Shawn Michaels saying, turnabout's fair play, you screwed over Dragon Lee, now he's going to get his chance to right the wrong if he chooses to, because not only will Dominik be defending against Trick Williams, who right now may be the hottest hand in NXT at the moment, but also Dragon Lee is going to be the special guest referee. Dom may be in some trouble here, just to say the least.
Some deep-ish.
Alyssa, start with that. Pick your spot and run with it.
All right, so I'm looking forward to this match. I am. And it's not even because, like, Dom, I'm looking forward to it for Trick. Because, you know, right now, he's in that middle kind of ground where he's like, I need to get my feet wet. I need to get out here and start getting my career started, like, as a singles competitor. Because, you know, right now, you still kind of think of him with Carmelo. And it's like, okay, yeah, Trick and Carmelo, but it's like, Trick is like, hey, man, I'm ready to do my own thing. Like, I'm ready to be out here and show people I can whoop behind just like you do. Like, you ain't the only one who could be out here wearing gold. So I'm excited to see how he goes. Like, because he's been good, like, by himself. But, like, I'm excited to see how he handles the title match picture, you know? Like, when you add that extra incentive on the end. And then also you have Dragon Lee over there like, you fool.
Like, you fool. 3 weeks ago, you played
that.
games, and now
That's
your
wild.
title reign sits in my hands now.
Best of luck to you, homeboy.
Because everything in this match looks like it favors Trick Williams. So, you know, he has the advantage. You know that despite the fact that Dragon has that luchador level of respect, you know in the back of his mind he can't be okay with Dominik holding the championship, at least in the manner in which he is holding it. Not necessarily that he's champion, but the champion he is representing. And, of course, also having the knowledge that his father is the United States champion and knowing the respect he comes with. So it's going to be curious to see what Dragon's mindset is. Meanwhile, turning to Trick in this situation, you've been under the bright lights, but it was with Carmelo as his mouthpiece or as his assistant on the side. For the first time now, the bright lights are squarely on you with gold on the line. Dominik, say what you want about the kid, he's defended over and over and over against some of the best in the game. Trick is going to be facing the toughest match, maybe short of Ilya Dragunov that he's had up to this point. Yeah. Is he ready for these bright lights?
Okay, first and foremost, I feel like he is. If you have been with Carmelo as long as y'all have, and y'all grew up together, and y'all wrestled together, and y'all did everything together, then if anything, you watched Carmelo, and you watched not only how he spoke on the mic, but how he had ring awareness in every fight that he went into. His confidence game was up. And this to me, if you haven't seen anything else, you would have learned how to handle yourself in the bright lights. And I feel like he's done very well against Ilya, one of my favorites. But honestly, like you said, Dom has literally been on every show for the last several weeks. SmackDown, Raw, NXT. And again, as much as people don't like him, he's making noise. But also, I feel like being here in NXT, Trick has NXT noise for him. I feel like he is going to take it tenfold. If anything, I hope he snatches that title off Dom, because Dom, in my opinion, as much as he's held it, as much as he's gone from every single show, he's done great. But I would like to see it in the hands of another person. And honestly, Trick is ready, in my opinion.
You've got an opportunity to do something special with Trick Williams. I'm going to get this in real quick before our picks. You know, you look at the big names, especially when it comes to like African American males
Yes.
on the main roster. You know, you ran it with Kofi Kingston, you
Yeah.
ran it with Big E. Everybody wants to see, you know, Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits to see what they can do. But you've got an opportunity from the ground up to do this with Carmelo Hayes and with Trick Williams. And Trick Williams, no disrespect to Carmelo, taller, bigger, absolutely money on the mic. So he has everything you're looking for in that future superstar. This could be that moment, win or lose, that Trick takes that next step. The question is, does he take that next step winning gold? Kia, you're up first on this one. Who you got walking out with the gold real quick?
So I have Trick Williams, because he gonna whoop that.
Whoop that Trick.
Really, he is. I feel like he will walk away with this bad boy. Plus, it needs new plays. I'm tired of seeing Dirty Dom. And who doesn't know? You think Judgment Day will get involved? You think, you know, Ray might help? You think Ray might help against the Sun? You think Dragon might help? And who knows? Carmelo might be sitting on the outside watching. What has he learned? Trick Williams all the way. Whoop him good.
You know, and you're right. I mean, there's potentially the opportunity for chaos because you don't know, is Carmelo going to let Trick do this on his own, or is he going to feel like, hey, it's my chance to help you for as many times as you've been there in my corner? Can I be there in yours when I have such a big match coming up in just a little while as well? So it'll be curious to see it. I guess it depends on where it falls in the card. How is Dragon going to call this match? Does Judgment Day get involved? Does LWO potentially show up? So there's a lot of different directions this can go. I'm going to go with Dominik to retain. I'm not sure how he's going to do it quite yet because I don't think he's going to be able to get the disqualification route with Lee as the referee. I'm not sure how he's going to do it. Just somehow, some way, he keeps finding ways to manage to do it. Trick's going to get his moment, just not quite yet. I like Dominik retaining.
I was about to say, as much as I hate to say it, I also feel like Dominik's going to retain. But I feel like Trick will take that next step. He's finally going to solidify himself. He's finally going to be like, all right, look, you got this one. But also, I'm looking at it from a Dominik perspective. He's in Judgment Day. Judgment Day is running everything right now. What does it look like taking gold off him right now? Everybody else, exactly.
Don't be the first one to lose your gold.
Everybody in Judgment Day has a firm hold grip on there. So I don't see them taking it off of him just yet. But I think if this turns into like multiple people, I feel like he'd be a great person to take it off of him. I just don't know if it's right now.
Yeah. And I feel like I think you're right in the fact that I think Trick is going to look good.
Oh, he's gonna
win
look
or
amazing.
lose. That roof is going off the building for him.
Absolutely.
He's going to look great in Bakersfield.
He's going to look good.
Good. 2 to go. Let's hit our co-main event. It is for the NXT Women's Championship. And boy, what a turn that this championship has taken in the past several weeks as the man and now current NXT Women's Champion, Grand Slam Bex, in Bex T, whatever you want to run with here. Becky Lynch, now holding the gold, will defend in an Extreme Rules match against the former champion, Tiffany Stratton. Now remember that as much crap as Natalya gave Becky for saying, you're supposed to be looking for new opportunities when Natalya wanted it, Natalya was the one who said you're a hypocrite. You went down and took opportunities away from NXT competitors. Becky Lynch countering saying, I didn't take any opportunities away. Tiffany called my rear end out and I showed up. You call me out,
I'm going to show up.
Everybody talks big till the man comes around.
Right, and she collects.
And she showed up and she absolutely collected on that receipt. Because Tiffany spouted off her mouth one too many times, and you kind of knew that Tiffany's mouth was going to eventually get her in trouble, despite all the talent that she has. These two put on an absolute clinic on NXT a couple of weeks ago. Even Tiffany looking fantastic in defeat, but it's clear the experience factor very heavily in favor of Becky. You add in the Extreme Rules stipulation, which I think would favor more Tiffany in that situation, because now at this stage you have the option of being able to use weapons, you have the option to be able to use disqualifications. So it certainly does so, but Becky, no stranger to Extreme Rules and tough matches like that herself. So this, to me, I think is your match of the night because of the special stipulation of Extreme Rules, adding Becky Lynch in there, and you also wonder, just putting it out there, do we maybe see a certain someone show up when the match is over? That has been a lot of the WWE news over the last several days, but we'll let that fall where it falls. It was a 6, so we're back to Alyssa starting things off.
Right, well, all I'm going to say is I hope Tiffany is ready, child, because, excuse you, I hope Tiffany is ready because, child, the man is coming around, and, boy, I don't know. There are very few women that I'd be like, oh, you know. No, when Big Time Beck show up, you be like, all right now. Hold up now.
I said it earlier.
Her and Bianca, you be like,
when the man comes around, you know, you better shape up.
but don't let me do too much though, because Tiffany again, she looked way better than I expected when it came down to her and Becky having their first match. And girl,
Because they didn't let Tiffany go in there and just get squashed. You
I
know,
love
it wasn't a
that.
situation where she was like, I called my shot, and Becky came in and just took her to the woodshed. No,
Right.
Tiffany
No,
looked
she put her
fantastic in defeat.
she looked fantastic all the way up until she laid on the table.
Right. I'm glad somebody brought it up.
Because
You weren't, she was gonna.
I sure
Yeah.
was. I really was.
Come on, our business though. All right, next person.
For me, I feel like, again, you called out someone. You called out Becky of all people. If it wasn't Becky, then it would probably been Charlotte. Either way, you're getting squashed and you're getting your title taken from you. So you can either get the man or you can get the queen. And the man is what you got. She came, she heard, came and saw and collected, and she left. So you can either get it together and make it about you again, Tiffany, or you could lay flat on the table and let Becky just take your title. Either way, it's getting taken. And the fact of the match, I don't think Tiffy Tuesday is ready for this one. I think Becky has the biggest advantage because Becky has been around for some time now. And Becky has been in all types of matches, and she's gotten beat up on. She's beat up people. She has been a heel. She's been a face, so forth and so on. Girl, she's keeping your title. You might as well go ahead and just take a nice long look at it as it leaves the door.
Now that we're getting an early top rope spoiler on that one. And it's curious to see, can Tiffy Tuesday happen on a Saturday? But I guess
Girl,
we're gonna
no,
find
it
out.
cannot. It's
And
not.
she won the title on a Saturday,
Wait a minute. Stratton
My
Saturday.
hand are cold.
Okay, either way. Stratton Saturday.
Stratton
So it might
Saturday.
happen.
Somebody slap it on a T-shirt with the Barbie text.
Tiffany, if you heard that, make it a shirt, please.
Trademark.
Yes.
Trademark on the ring apron. Pay us. Give us free stuff. It is right here. Pay us.
Oh my God. Okay.
Tiffany, you can tell, is the future of the women's division. Regardless of who else is there, she is your top name that has not come back down from the main roster. I feel like giving Becky a shot and having her win the women's championship in NXT was the right thing to do because she was the only one that hadn't had the distinction of holding that Grand Slam title yet. Charlotte got it, Sasha got it, Bayley got it, and now Becky coming in. Granted she's last, but the fact is, it was the one title that had eluded her.
Save the best for last, honestly, is what I say.
And she's there to do what others have done, and that is to make this division better. And you're already seeing the split in the women's division in terms of who you're siding with. Roxanne is already excited for an opportunity to be able to go head-to-head with Becky Lynch. You're seeing Lyra and Becky have already teamed together.
Yeah.
So Lyra has already given her a shot. But then you also look at people like Kiana James, who has sided with Tiffany going, they're walking in taking our opportunities, and even though we don't like each other, we want Becky out because she is taking the opportunities that should have been meant for us. So it'll definitely be interesting to see how this pans out, especially with the Extreme Rules stipulation. I opened this one with our selections. Too early to take it off Becky. Why do all this if ultimately you're going to take the championship off her? Weird feeling. I think we might see a new signing cited at the end of this one. I can't mention any names until she actually shows up. But unless you've been living under a rock, you probably know who I'm talking about, and I am ready to see that matchup potentially happen. In this one, though, I think you get another great classic with the Extreme Rules stipulation added in there. But I do think Becky's more ready. The experience wins out again. Lynch retains.
I like Becky to retain too.
Becky retains.
Excuse me. Oh, Becky, definitely. Whoa.
Hey, gotta make it. Hey, we have to make it official. You know. I know you kind of spoiled it there earlier.
Hey! I just like what I like. That is what it is.
Plus, those are some nice side plates. Go ahead.
Those are really nice.
I
I
know,
like
you gotta
them.
show them off there. So that's okay.
Okay.
And we move into our last match, what we anticipate will be the main event of the evening. So we'll go ahead and run the clock here, and that is the rematch of the year in what is right now running by most people's standards as a match of the year candidate, possibly the match of the year, definitely the match of the year in NXT up to this point. But they will have their rematch from Great American Bash as Carmelo Hayes will once again defend the NXT Championship against Ilya Dragunov. Now, these two had a 35-minute war against each other at Great American Bash back in July. It was ultimately Carmelo coming out on top, but it was with perhaps an unexpected assist from Trick Williams, where Ilya went for his diving headbutt and accidentally dove into the NXT Championship. Carmelo has said, hey, you made the choice to dive, not me. I didn't ask Trick to do anything, and technically Trick didn't do anything. You got over anxious, you took your eyes off the prize for a split second, and that's all I need, because once I shoot,
I
Don't miss.
there you go. But Ilya said, no Trick, no problem at this stage. And really it was after that Carmelo and Trick kind of decided, maybe we need to go our separate ways because I can't legitimize myself as the top champion of this brand if I'm getting help, even if it was, unintended or, it wasn't something I asked for. So now at this point, Ilya is going to earn and get the true one-on-one match with Carmelo Hayes. If you thought the first one was good, I'm fully expecting better now that it's going to be just the two of them on their own. Carmelo has hung a lot of names in the rafters. Ilya's one of them, but that was one that even he himself said has an asterisk next to it, and I'm not okay with that. To hang Ilya's name in the rafters twice, there's a very small list of people who can say they've beaten Ilya Dragunov one-on-one twice.
Yeah.
It's very, very small, and that's not just talking NXT, that's talking throughout his entire career. So, how this one is going to pan, I have zero idea, but this is a very scary-looking prospect for Carmelo. It's an odd number of matches, so whoever wants to go first, fire away.
Okay, first of all, I like both people. I can't wait to see the match. What was the last match we said we thought was going to be a very, very active match? It was Braun Breaker, but I feel like this one is going to be the other active, get down, throw down, punches, kicks, flying, everything in between, ground and pound. I feel like that's what this match is going to be. I love it. I can't wait to see it. Also, understanding, I feel like for me, I'd like to see Ilya with the title. But I also like the fact that it's on Carmelo. I don't think it should be handed over or given, or in my opinion, I don't think it's going to work for Ilya to win it or take it. And I got a question, and maybe it's just me. He just jumped from brother to brother. You notice that? Trick Williams, and then he jumped to Carmelo.
She's on her shit tonight.
What? It was just an observation.
I feel like Sesame Street. Today's word of the day is... brother. And we're blacklisted.
I think it's going to be the opposite.
Really?
That you say. I know a few things. I know this is going to be very hard-hitting. This is going to be very physical. This one is going to be a match of the year candidate. I already know that. I also know that they're both going to look spectacular. But if we think back to that other match, Ilya had his number.
That's true.
Ilya had it.
Ilya controlled 75 to 80% of that match.
Ilya controlled, I'd say, 90 to 95% of that match, and then he went head first into this.
So,
Carmelo looked good. They both made each other look wonderful. But if he didn't do this, he would already have this.
and that's the problem he's had for the last 3 months. Is he saying I should already have that?
And I love Carmelo. I've loved Carmelo from the gate, but I think it's time for him to go. I think he's ready. You have nothing left to prove.
And Carmelo, the entire reason why he's excited about this is he wants that one blemish on his title reign to be erased, because he has never been okay with the fact that ultimately he retained over Ilya the first time because of the unintended assist from Trick and Ilya making a simple mistake. So now at this point, Melo, who you're absolutely correct if you go back and rewatch that first one, Ilya dominated that match for a majority of it. What has Carmelo learned in that time, and has he learned enough? And then from Dragunov's perspective, will he have that killer instinct this time around to finish the job that he couldn't finish, because that's been making his red blood boil since he lost that match. And again, the number of people who can say they've beaten Ilya Dragunov one-on-one twice, you can count them on one hand. Yeah. There aren't many. So this is going to be an absolute barn burner, match of the year. Get your popcorn ready, go to the bathroom before this match, and don't plan on getting up from your seat. I feel like this has near fall capabilities that are going to be similar to the Gargano-Adam Cole rivalry from a few years ago, where you're going to see about 9 or 10 kickouts that aren't supposed to happen
before you finally get to the big one.
Exactly. So this one's going to be fun. We'll just say that the fans are going to win this one. The universe is going to win this one. But we do have to make a pick. Fire away.
I chose him once, and I'm going to do it again. I like Ilya.
She's determined to make sure we get to the 1 hour mark.
I'm choosing Carmelo. I feel like Carmelo has taken notes. I feel like Carmelo has always taken notes. He's taken notes. I feel like he's going to learn from the last time, and I feel like that's going to fuel him to keep his baby, keep his title. And honestly, I want to see Ilya with it, but I don't want to see it that bad. Not yet.
Gotcha. And I'm going to choose that reasoning, but I'm going to say for the other person, I think Ilya is the one that ultimately has learned something from all of this. And I'm kind of with Alyssa on this one. Hey, we rode that train the first time they faced each other.
And he had him.
And he did.
He had him.
So I think I'm going to go with Ilya here. I think we see a title change here, and I think this is that clean win that Ilya needs to solidify his run, and I think it sets Carmelo up for his next big push, whether it's to the main roster or whether it's maybe his rivalry with Trick at that stage, because it's possible that both Carmelo and Trick could both walk out with gold.
I hope so.
It's also possible neither could walk out with gold, and maybe they're going to have a problem with that. So we'll see what ends up panning out. But this one, very quietly, because it took a while for the card to come together on this one, but at the end of the day, it ended up turning into a very solid live event card that we're going to see. And of course, this a week before we get WWE Fastlane, which of course will have a last man standing with Seth Rollins and Shinsuke Nakamura before they head to Japan, so maybe a potential change there. And of course, the long-awaited return to premium live event of the GOAT, the best of all time, John Cena, as he right now is scheduled to go 2-on-1 against the bloodline of Jimmy Uso and Solo Sikoa. He was supposed to team with AJ Styles, but with Styles' injury, Cena's got to go it alone.
He's injured again.
He's always injured.
I'm sorry.
I'm pretty sure it's in storyline, though. Oh. But I'm looking forward to this. This is going to be a ton of fun. Well worth switching away from college football over, and, that comes from me. So, take that with a grain of salt. But just last thoughts before we head out. Alyssa, just last thought on the way out.
I'm excited to see this. I'm ready to go to bed so I can wake up and go to bed again and wake up and be ready to watch it. Let's do it.
You said we're going to be blacklisted? I don't think so. I'm just black, so let's go ahead and...
For the love of...
Here we go. I'm ready to go eat. Come on.
Ooh, I better feed these girls because she is on something.
Okay.
Either way.
I'm hungry. Let's go.
Again, go check out the Mania Club page, community page for opportunities to be able to put in your votes. Go look at the Mania Club Facebook page, auctions, opportunities to be able to contribute to Connor's Cure, Pediatric Cancer Awareness. It's what we're all about at Mania Club. So definitely make your voice known. Every little bit helps, as this is a fight that these kids didn't ask for. So we'll fight just as hard as they do because we see what they're having to go through and they don't deserve it. So we're going to make sure that we're fighting hard with our money, our time, and our efforts.
And you have to think, there's some of the sweetest,
MTE.
You have to think, there's some of the sweetest kids we've had a chance to talk to when we were doing like live, what is it with
Mania Club.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they're some of the nicest kids you've ever met, and if you didn't see some of the things that they were going through, they are not going to let this be what stops them. They are too young to know fear at this stage, and they are not going to stop fighting. So and they're not going to stop fighting. We're not either. But either way, that's Top Rope spoilers for for NXT No Mercy. We will see you around this time next week for our Top Rope spoilers for WWE Payback. In the meantime, we're gonna go eat some wings.
Yum, yum,
Bye.
yum. Num, num, num,
See you
num,
later.
num, 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 num.